Why do we amateur players often miss high backspin balls? Here's why: no footwork, no brush, just a big swing with the entire arm. Today, we're going to teach you how to attack high backspin balls. I guarantee I can teach you how to master this shot. We'll start with the forehand, then move to the backhand. When hitting a half-high ball, we need to focus on 3 key elements. The first element is, you must move your feet. Because the ball is slow, most half-high balls are also quite short. So you have to use your feet to get to this ball, as it doesn't travel far forward. It starts dropping right after the peak of its bounce. Why is a backspin half-high ball so hard to hit? Because it's not a normal push, it's often rushed over the net. It's a ball that's been jabbed out like this. So this ball basically stays in place, doesn't travel forward much, and drops very quickly. Therefore, for any half-high ball, you must move your feet. That's the first key point. The second element is brushing. You must brush the ball. In practice, you might feel you can just hit it flat, but that's not reliable in a real match. Because by the time you get to it, if it's a backspin ball, it will definitely be dropping as it comes over. In a match, if your reaction is a bit slow and you can't pounce on it, the ball will absolutely hit the net. Pure flat hitting is only suitable for attacking topspin half-high balls. You absolutely cannot hit a backspin ball flat. This is a fundamental truth. You miss it in matches because you're being moved around, slowing your reaction and footwork. If you're slightly late, you'll miss the high point, and the ball will hit the net. That's the reason. The third element is a compact stroke. What do you use to hit a half-high ball? The upper arm or the forearm? You use the forearm. At the moment of contact, it is just a forearm action. Because it is a short ball, close to the table. First is footwork, second is brushing, and third is a compact stroke. We'll go through these 3 points one by one, and then I'll demonstrate. You serve a half-spin ball, your opponent just blocks it back, and it becomes a small pop-up. First is the footwork. Watch me. Keep your racket in front of your body and use your feet to adjust. After you serve, keep your racket in front and adjust with your feet. It's too difficult to just take one big step after serving. Professional players can do it because we can time it perfectly. After I serve, if the ball comes here, I'll use a side shuffle to get into position and loop it. But amateur players can't do this, you're always rushing the point. So the key is, after your serve, if your opponent pushes a half-high ball, your feet must constantly be making small adjustment steps. I have tried teaching amateurs to use one big step, but they can't manage it. The second point is that after serving, your feet need to move forward into the table. After serving, first recover backward. Then see the ball and adjust to move forward. After the serve, return to your normal ready position, then adjust and move forward. After you serve, first recover to your normal stance, an arm's length from the table. And then read the opponent's return. Your footwork should not be a lunge or a big sidestep, but small adjustment steps or choppy steps with both feet. Find the right position using 1 or 2 steps. For a wider angle, use 2 steps, for a tighter angle, use 1. If it's a normal ball, loop it normally. If it's a short ball, rotate your waist, step in with your left foot, and execute the stroke. Rotate your waist, step in with your left foot as you make the stroke, and follow through with your body weight. This is the footwork. Next, let's talk about brushing. Because the incoming ball has backspin, if you treat it like a topspin ball and hit it flat, you will make a mistake. When hitting a half-high ball, you must position your racket behind the ball. To loop a standard backspin ball, your backswing starts below the ball. But to attack a half-high backspin ball, your backswing starts behind the ball. Otherwise, the ball will go long. The second key point is that you must brush the middle to upper part of the ball. How do you do that? Keep the V of your hand pointing forward and close your racket angle. This will allow you to generate power. First point, my backswing is behind the ball. Second point, brush the middle to upper part of the ball, looping it out like this. If you want to generate power, you have to close your racket angle. Let me demonstrate. If I loop this like a normal backspin ball, with my backswing lower than the ball, hitting it flat will go into the net. Looping it will go long. So remember, for brushing, there are two key points. First, make sure your racket is behind the ball. Second, you must close your racket angle, with the V of your hand forward, to brush the ball. Don't start your backswing below the ball, and don't open your racket face too much. Otherwise, the trajectory will be too long and will go off the table when you try to add power. The third point is to keep the stroke compact. I'll hit a couple for you normally. Watch my stroke as if I were in a match. Is the motion big? Not really, right? Why do we miss half-high balls? Because your motion looks like this. Observe this type of backspin ball. It pops up slightly, and then it drops very quickly. When you move in, you think you can hit it at its peak. But by the time you actually make contact, the ball is already falling. Therefore, we absolutely cannot take a big backswing, because the ball will have already dropped. We should keep our racket in front of our body. Don't start your backswing immediately after serving, that's a common problem. So what's the correct way? After serving, keep your racket in front, adjust with your feet, and only then start your backswing. Look, after serving, racket in front, and the backswing is the very last part. The moment you start your backswing first, you lose the opportunity to adjust your position with your feet. So after you serve, keep your racket in front. While you are adjusting with your feet, your arms should not move. Finally, when your feet are set, then you take your backswing and execute the stroke. This doesn't just apply to half-high balls, it applies to all shots. Now, let's talk about the backhand. Why does it go into the net? You need to close the racket face, brush the ball, and drive forward. It's that simple. Don't just flat hit it, a flat hit will definitely go into the net. Unless you have a very solid punch or flat hit technique like I do, then it's possible. If you use short pips or have good explosive power, you can do it. But if you are looping it, you must close the racket face and lift your hand. Brush the middle to upper part of the ball. Use external rotation of the forearm. First, your shoulder and elbow should be relaxed, with the tip of your elbow pointing down. Keep the racket face fairly vertical, move from back to front, keep your wrist stable, and let your forearm drive forward. As you can see, the incoming ball has extremely heavy backspin. Vertical racket, forward power. If you want to loop it, close your racket face and brush the ball. With a closed racket angle, use your forearm's outward rotation for power. Don't just push straight forward, a sideways brushing motion will get the ball on the table. Generate power sideways, unlike looping backspin where you need to drive forward more.